Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Nothin Nice. You got your boy JV, and I got my boy here with me again, Mook Jones. What's up, man?
What's up?
Yo, okay, we're gonna get right into the NBA. This has been a crazy, exciting, incredible week. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Before we do, how you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm feeling good, feeling great, man.
I bet, no complaints. I love it. All right, so where can we even start? Let's just go ahead and run through these playoff games real quick.
Get it.
So we're gonna start out in the East. We got my Cavs. They got the job done. Now you gonna watch them now. Now that we in the second round, can you watch them, bro? Because you give them a hard time. My people back home didn't appreciate that. Hey, can you watch my boys now?
They got my attention. Man. I got to tune in. Hey, I kind of caught it, bro. Like I was saying on episode 1, man. Going to my grave, Jaylen Brown and Tatum will never win a championship together. You know, I just feel like
those are strong words. That's a strong sentiment.
And I stand on that.
Okay.
I'm standing on business with this. These guys, man, look, it's just like we seen with the last game. Tatum, it just seems like he be like him and Jaylen Brown are like, is it my turn? Is it your turn?
Right.
I feel like it ain't natural.
Okay.
So I just feel like, man, nah, I don't think they'll win together, man.
So tell me this: you calling for the upset? Cleveland's gonna get it done. We're gonna knock them out.
I won't go that far. I won't go that far. But you know, I do like Mitchell. I think he's a real good player. I like Garden. Well, the key factor is Mobley. Do you think Mobley can be consistent enough to, you know, can you get that much from Mobley? And Tristan Thompson even came in and played pretty well for them.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So here's what I'll say about it. I am picking Cleveland to come up with the upset. Hey. I might be choosing, my heart over my head. I don't care. I rock with my boys. Now, what I will say is, with Porzingis being out, Mobley has every chance, and Mobley's young, but he has every chance to come in and get it done. Be the best big man on the floor at any given time, especially with Jared Allen also not being there, clogging up the paint or anything like that. Okay. He has every ability, every chance to go in there and get a 15 rebounds in this series.
They say every team need a little bit of luck. Porzingis going down, might provide a little bit of luck. But you still got to execute. You still got to play the game.
Absolutely.
We seen him in game 1. Didn't have a great showing. Game 2, he kind of had his way.
It's a flip side.
It just depends on coaching for the Celtics. I feel like if Udoka was still there, the Celtics would already have a championship right now. So, to me, like this is a proven year not only for Jaylen Brown.
So tell me this. So you're saying that the Celtics will have a championship if Udoka was still there. However, you're saying Jason Tatum and Brown wouldn't win a ship together. So is it the coaching or is it the way that they play together?
Well, I think when Udoka was there, he was the clear alpha male, as you speak. I feel like a lot of stuff. I feel like they was more defensive minded. They had a better identity, and then he kind of took those two egos and blended them. Just his presence. But naturally, I just think there are two players. Plus, I don't think you're going to be able to keep two $300+ million players on one team for one. I don't care what they say. They can say Tatum team. Jaylen Brown, I'm telling you, him and his family are always having discussions, man, this is my team. So I just feel like that's always going to happen.
Jaylen Brown, he was supposed to already have 5 championships. But
And if you ask me, man, I'm just saying, I just don't think it's going to work. I think both of them will be more successful apart. I think Jaylen Brown need to go on and get his own team. I know that won't happen, but it's going to be one of those things where I could have been, could have would.
If Jaylen Brown had his own team, what do you think his individual ceiling would be?
It's hard to say because Jaylen Brown, man, it's just like his handles are very inconsistent. I feel like he's too loose with the ball, but I also feel like with Tatum being on his team, it's kind of hindering his growth process. Of course, I'm not a pro. I'm not on either one of these guys' level. But I just from what I'm seeing and observing, man, I just feel like with Jaylen Brown, you know, he's a little inconsistent at times. He sometimes get out of control. You know, if that makes sense. He's out of control sometimes going to the lane. I feel like sometimes he'd be too aggressive at times, and Tatum be too passive.
So do you think Jaylen Brown could be Jimmy Butler? Do you think he could be D Wade? I'm just naming two guards who play defense and offense. Who do you see him becoming if they do decide to break this up if they lose in this series and decide to break it up and Brown goes to his own team?
Yeah, are you saying Jaylen Brown, if he keeps developing? Because we even though they've been in the playoffs every year and they got a lot of playoff experience,
right,
we forget that Jaylen Brown is still fairly young. He's still in his 20s. Absolutely. So with the maturation and the consistency, I can see him transition to be more like a Kawhi Leonard type player. You know, I know that might sound like a reach right now, but
that's
you know,
this guy is right there. healthy Kawhi is one of
but you gotta look at this guy.
15 best players.
Let's look at young Kawhi. You know, coming from San Antonio, he started out as a defensive presence. Yeah. I already think that Jaylen Brown is ahead of schedule on offense. He's farther along than Kawhi Leonard was. Both of these guys, as they're young, they both came in. They both play really good defense. They both are good two-way players. I just see the similarities between the two players. I think if he was to get his own team, he'll trend to more towards like a Kawhi Leonard type game.
I can't give him that kind of boost. Hey. I think that I see him more of a Jimmy Butler, someone who can lock up, force the series, push a game 7, put something on his back, maybe not win it off. You don't have the right pieces around him, but I think he's more of that. A healthy Kawhi was just a different monster. A healthy Kawhi was giving everybody problems on offense and defense.
I just can't see the similarities between him and Jimmy Butler. Are you saying that Jaylen Brown
who can play defense and
no? I'm saying, but if we were to add
Jaylen Brown's probably a little more athletic than Jimmy.
So what would you say is Jaylen Brown's superpower on the basketball court? Like, because I think Jimmy Butler's superpower is leadership.
Right.
He's the ultimate leader. I just don't. Right now, from what I'm seeing from Jaylen Brown, and maybe he might grow into that. Though I say he's still young. I don't see that great leadership quality right now. And that may be because of the Tatum situation, because
I think that definitely plays a factor into it. And that they're both young. They came in together, not stepping on each other's toes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not wanting to have the old Kobe and Shaq, how they had their division as they go into it. But also not really ready to be willing to do the Bron and D Wade, where D Wade already had his ring and he looked at Bron and said, you know what, this is your squad.
Right.
So I think that he's trying to, as far as leadership, he's in a little gray area there. However, you have your own team, that gives you the perfect time to step up in that. What he is athletic. He does like to play defense, and he has somewhat of a bag on offense. As long as he's going right, he's cooking. So I mean, we'll see with that. So tell me this: who you got for this series? We got the Cavs. We got the Cavs in Boston. We said all this. Who do you have right now? Who you putting your name on?
I just feel like it'll be a reach for me to go for Cleveland, even though I like Cleveland. I just haven't seen the consistency. Game 3 is going to be a really telling game for both teams. You got Cleveland coming into this series. They haven't lost a game at home in the playoffs yet. They're a very hard team to beat. Their atmosphere is kind of unmatched. It's kind of like a college atmosphere in Cleveland. The same way it is with OKC. It's like you feel that like that kind of college atmosphere. It's a very hard place to play.
We don't play.
Game 3 will be very telling, but right now I have to just give the edge, based off talent alone. Just give the edge out to the Boston Celtics. And also, I think another key factor playing the game is Derek White. Man, since this dude shaved his head, man, this dude been balling out of control.
All great players end up going bald.
So he's a key factor. I think Mobley and White swings it either way. Whoever plays the best between those two players I think win this series. I just think Derrick White is more consistent.
That's fair. However, the Cavs got it in 6. You heard me say it. You seen it here. Okay, so now we.
I think you're picking with his head, not his heart. His heart, not his head.
Listen, Cavs in 6. You heard me say it.
Man, the Cavaliers gonna be the death of this guy.
So anyway, next series we got the Knicks and the Pacers. So this series, the Pacers they finally got a win. Mm-hmm. They're close the first 2 games. Knicks pulled it out. My problem with the Pacers and what I've been seeing so far is that they play like an AAU team. Mm-hmm. You know, they get out there, they just want to run, have fun. They are not locking up on defense. They don't have discipline on defense. They barely have discipline on offense.
Right.
They just want to take a whole bunch of shots and run and gun, kind of like the Mike D'Antoni system without the guns to make it go.
Right.
Without the horses to make it go, rather. And that I do not like about the Pacers. And I'm actually surprised that they play like this, and it's a Rick Carlisle team.
Hey,
because Rick Carlisle, like what he did with the Mavs.
Y'all give this man a round of applause. He's trying his best to say anything about the Pacers. Man, don't nobody care. I think the Pacers, they're going to lose.
Oh no! I got them losing too.
I think they're going to lose. I say they lose in 6. They won. They won tonight.
You said in 6. I get same. Same in 6.
I think.
Now they've been close in too many games, but I'm just disappointed in watching them play because they're always like close. Right. To like, okay, we're in the 4th quarter, it's a tie game, we're going back and forth, and then they just lose discipline, they stop containing, they don't push, they don't make any adjustments, they fall apart. The Knicks score 5-6 points in a row. I watched DiVincenzo come and step into about 5 threes uncontested. Just give me the ball in transition. Let me pull up.
It's clear they don't really coach defense too much. I mean, they going to practice. They practicing on offense. This was the best offensive team in the league this year, and it shows. That's mainly what they worked on because the defensive presence is non-existent. Yeah. I just feel like, but something else concerning me about the Knicks. I noticed that late in the game that they're missing a lot of free throws, and that's simply because of fatigue. If you look at when they missing free throws, front of the rim. I do feel like it's going to come back to hunt them with Hart and I always mess up his name. DiVincenzo. Him and Jalen Brunson, I think they are all playing too many minutes, and plus they are smaller guards, so it's a lot of wear and tear on their bodies. So it kind of worried me with that. I think Thibodeau can start squeezing in a little more minutes to the other players. I know, they always shorten up the rotation. I just feel like, man, they running out of bodies, and I feel like they kind of teetering with going in trouble, man. They playing too many minutes. I know Hart played the whole game for the first 2 games of the series. Right. I'm not sure what he did tonight.
He played
as far as minutes. Did he play the whole game?
Almost.
So he played 46 minutes tonight?
Yeah, about 45.
Played about 45 minutes. I mean, you got to get this man some rest. I mean, I know he's great athlete. He's in great shape. I just feel like it's going to kind of hurt them when they come down, whether it's the Cavaliers or the Celtics. Yeah. Both of those teams like to get up and down. They both fairly young. I just feel like they playing on thin ice right now.
No, I feel you with that. And not to just kind of harp on this, because we both had the Knicks winning. No matter what the shakeout, we pretty much see that the Knicks are going to win this series. But Josh Hart is 6'4".
Right.
6'5" on a good day.
Right.
There's no reason he should have 8 rebounds. The Pacers are really bothering me with the way that they're playing defense and not rebounding.
He been doing this all season.
And you know what this is making me think?
It's that dog,
that playing game, or not the playing game, the mid-season tournament that they had.
Right.
Man, that tournament really didn't mean much. Because you got the Lakers who were in the finals against them, who won, but they're out. The Pacers were in it, and we're seeing how they're playing at this juncture, where they're going to end up getting knocked out against the Knicks in the second round.
Well, it don't surprise me, but it do surprise me because the reason why it don't surprise me because if you look at Indiana Pacers, they are good for the regular season. I mean, they're very efficient on offense. I mean, if you watch them play, it's a beautiful thing to watch them play on offense. Mm-hmm. The ball hardly touched the ground. I mean, they moving the ball. The ball never sticks. They pretty much get what they want. when they running their offense, but just so happen when you in the playoffs, things slow down. And you playing against the same team back to back. So teams get a chance to key on you and they see your weaknesses. But they glaring weaknesses is defense. It's nothing.
You can't hide that.
So, of course, in the playoffs, you're going to get exploited. Whatever your weakness is, you only as good as your weakness. So, I just think if they keep this same team, they'll be right at the top of the East as far as ranking because they run a gun, they're very efficient, and it's a hard team to beat from night to night, especially when you're playing different teams. But in a playoff format, you are going to be exploited because they're going to find out your weakness. And your weakness is defense.
Now the Pacers, I'm not saying that like going forward, next season they don't, they don't have any hope.
Right.
What they do in the off season is really going to matter. And I know we're talking like the season's already done. It's a foregone conclusion. There's still games to play. Anything that can happen. God forbid there's an injury. Either way, that's significant. But I feel like they need vets on that team. They need vets who can kind of tell you like how to weather that storm, and who will say, "Hang your head on defense." Like a Patrick Beverly, just hear me out. Hear me out. A Patrick Beverly or PJ Tucker who's willing to be the team vet. I feel like they would be great for the Pacers to come in and be like, "Hey, nah, we locking up. We not giving up nothing else."
Well, they better subscribe to his podcast.
If they want to talk to him. If they want to talk to him, they better hit the pod.
Oh, man. They better talk to his podcast.
No, big facts.
But I don't think he moves the needle for him. I kind of think he on the last end of his career.
Okay, so because you don't need a vet who's...
What about Paul George?
Paul George back in Indiana would be very interesting.
Very.
It would be very interesting. But I would see Paul George honestly going to a place like Philly. I feel like Philly has it more together. If Joel Embiid is healthy, you got Maxey there, where Paul George is on the wing, Maxey's at the 1, and Joel's at the 5. That's a perfect fit right now.
But I don't think that he's a Philly type guy.
What do you mean from?
Well, you got to be kind of rough, man. It's a tough crowd to play for in Philly. I just think the way he plays. Don't get me wrong. I think Paul George can play with any team. He's a very good player. As skill. A lot of these young kids consider him they go. So
that's wild.
Wild for me too.
I've been hearing it, but that's a wild sentiment.
He tends to be too passive aggressive, man. I just want to see that dog come out. I just want to say,
but on a team
move out
like
the way,
Philly,
and I'm going to do this.
But on a team like Philly, that will work because Joel is the alpha on that one. Paul George isn't the one who's like, "Hey, I'm gonna hit, push, da 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 da." That's not him. So we're not gonna ask him to be that. Right. You can have him come in, be him, lock up on D, get the jumpers, get the drives, everything like that. Play within the system, still get your buckets, and be good.
And I don't mean no disrespect for what I'm about to say. If he come in and give you 5 points, that'll be better than what Tobias Harris gave you.
Well, no, yeah, Tobias Harris.
Man, he had a no-show, man.
He can have a good game and it's still quiet. So that's my problem with Tobias Harris.
At this point, anything would be an upgrade. I don't know what it is. I mean, the guy got the talent. I mean, to be a max player, you had to show some type of, superior skills. It just seemed like he just started watching too much on the court.
Man, if he can always come to Cleveland, the doors of the church are now open in Cleveland. Feel free to come by our basketball tabernacle. Amen. All right, so but no, yeah, for sure. And now who you got? Oh yeah, we both said in this series we got New York at 6. Shout out to Jalen Brunson. That man, honestly, that's a young team right there. Who they hoop. Man,
I've been on Jalen Brunson.
They hoop.
I
don't know what I feel like New York is probably one piece away from being like championship ready for the next couple of years. I feel like they're one piece away. Maybe they're in the same Paul George type player on the wing to make it work, or a big man who can actually score.
A lot of people say Paul George, but are we so sure that the Clippers are going to keep Kawhi?
The only thing about Kawhi is,
I know they moved to Inglewood, so they knew.
that part doesn't even matter for me. The only thing about Kawhi, if I was another team, that man's never healthy.
Yeah.
When he's healthy, one of the best players in the league, easily. But that win is like a very small window.
I mean,
that's like throwing a frisbee.
If I'm him, I'm jumping in there 1 year sweepstakes. I mean, it worked out for Toronto.
But
I mean, I think he's gonna be pretty healthy next year.
That's okay, a 1 year, but it depends what type of money it is, and depends on who I have to give up for that 1 year, if that's the case.
I'm telling you, New York,
because I'm never betting on that man's health. And then if he's not healthy and Kawhi goes to a place like New York, you think they're hot on you in L.A. or in San Antonio? New York they bought out the tickets in Philly. like they tell you what time it is in New York. Nah. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not where you need to live.
I think
that's not your safe place.
I said it last episode. I think the Red will be a great fit in New York.
No, he can't hop on any more teams.
Man,
he can't hop on any more teams.
I feel like
at this point, you gonna date everybody in the league
with Jalen Brunson leadership, Coach Thibodeau leadership.
I hear what you're saying.
Kevin Durant will be able to step in.
In theory, it sounds great. In practice, because he can't play for everybody. Like he's gonna run out of teams.
Who says?
I mean, okay, if you want to date the league, the entire league, if you're a team hopper,
James Harden did it.
And when we talk about top two guards,
one thing about it,
I feel like his name is slowly but surely slipping down that list. And we know he was a hooper, but you keep hopping without winning.
Yeah,
that's not a good lifestyle.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, man. I just think if he go to New York,
yeah,
you know, at this point, if you go and win a championship with New York, all your sins will be forgiven.
Yeah, for New York,
you win a championship for New York, everything is forgiven. We forget about. It
depends. It depends how far the Knicks go this year. We forget about
the Brooklyn Nets.
It depends. Yeah. I hear you. But it just depends how far they go this year. Because if New York goes to the finals and you go over there, it's going to be like,
yeah.
You kind of went on a train that was already moving again.
But if they go and they say since they go to the Eastern Conference Finals, they get blew out by the Celtics. Kevin Durant comes, push him over the hump. You don't think that, that
can bring a different discussion. That can bring a different discussion. But let's hop over here to the West where it's getting a little spicy. We have the Nuggets and the Wolves. Right now, the Nuggets, they got them a win.
Mm-hmm.
So the Wolves are still up 2-1. What I didn't like about the game is the Wolves played like they were up 2-0 in the series.
Right.
And maybe that's where growth comes in and getting yourself together and growing up as a team. But just when you have a team down, you have to step on their neck. You got to put them out of their misery. You got to tell them, hey, trouble doesn't last always. Because you're going home. Where you get to, regroup, have a good summer, Cancun on 3. Maybe a little piece of Vegas.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the Wolves are playing with their food, and that's dangerous because...
Well, you kind of had to know that Denver wouldn't go down without a fight, And
the Wolves should have known that.
I mean, you had to know that, of course, those guys are going to play for Jokic. He's coming off a third MVP season. And, they the champions at the end of the day. In order to beat the champion, you got to beat the champions. I know it's very cliche, but these guys are not the champions for nothing. I mean, I knew they wasn't going to take it lying down. So it's not even surprising to me. I did, however, notice that this is like the worst case scenario for Rudy Gobert. I mean, you miss a game and they kind of have the best defensive performance since the Chicago Bulls in 95-96 season.
Ever in their history,
and
for sure.
And then he comes back and they just wide open everywhere.
That was Wemby's trophy.
Tonight. So
they gave the trophy to the wrong guy.
So it's kind of like the worst case scenario for Rudy Gobert. Congratulations, by the way, on the baby. What he had, a baby girl, baby boy?
I don't know. He had a baby.
A baby, yeah.
Congratulations. Healthy and in the world.
Congratulations on the baby.
Congratulations to you.
More love to you and your family, but it's kind of.
However, the court.
Yeah, it's kind of like a worst case scenario. He come back and they get blown out.
He looked slow. He didn't look like he was all the way into it.
I don't know. Lethargic.
I don't know if he has nighttime duties with the baby or what's going on right now. Because I know once when they first get there, they're up every 2 hours. However, whatever the case may be, he has to get it together because he's not looking good. He's looking slow on switches. Right. Like he's not reading the defense. And for you to be the defensive player of the year or defensive MVP, which I don't think he deserved that anyway. You have to take these games personally. Right. You have to look at Jokic and saying, "No, I'm stopping this." You have to look at, "No, you're not doing any backdoor cuts and getting layups." Like at this point, he just seems like a really, I don't even say really good because I'm not a big Gobert fan. Right. However, it's like he's just the king of help side defense.
Right. But also as well, we can't just put it all on Rudy Gobert. I mean,
everybody got a hoop.
Anthony Edwards did not come in playing aggressive either. It's kind of like they just came in like, hey, we up 2-0, we're going to beat these guys, it's just coast. And you can't do that against the champion. I think this is just showing their youth right now. I think Game 4, they'll come back much more in tune. I think the coach will get into them. They have a much better game plan. You'll see a whole completely different Minnesota team.
I mean, I picked the Wolves in the last one to win in 6. Right. You didn't pick because you were scared.
Right. I'm still
scared.
I'm still scared. I ain't afraid to say it. I'm still a little scared. I kind of think I'm just gonna say it's gonna go. I'm not ready to say 6 because they are still the champions.
Would you be willing to say 6?
Man, I'm pulling for the Minnesota T-Wolves. I'm pulling for them. I ain't ready to say 6 yet.
Okay.
If they win Game 4, I'm saying 5. I'm saying they do it in 5.
Okay.
But if they lose Game 4, I'm saying it's going to 7 games.
That's tough. That is tough, especially when they already have 2. You telling me that you're gonna need 4 more or 3 more games to get 2 more?
I think it's a 2-game swing. I said if they win Game 4, they end it in 5.
Okay.
So that means they close out in Denver. If they lose Game 4, it's going 7, and I'm going towards Denver. I think experience kicks in.
Okay. I think Minnesota's ended it in 6. If they don't play with their food, they'll end it in 5. But I think that they'll end it in 6 because the next game I believe that they'll win. Denver will go back and they'll play with their heart back in Denver, and they'll figure out a way to win. And then Minnesota will go back with every intentions to end it. And Kat and Ant and Nasir and all of them, they're gonna come together. Reed will all come together and they're gonna get it done. Conley's playing well, so I think they'll get it done in 6.
Right. And another thing I noticed about this series, they already got all of the regular season awards. I mean, in this game alone, you got the defensive player of the year, and the MVP player of the year, and you got the sixth man of the year. Yeah. So all of the awards is in this series. So it's cracking up to be a great series. Like I said, Game 4 is going to be crucial for each team. I think whoever wins Game 4 wins the series ultimately.
Okay. I hear that. Outside of the Wolves, no matter what, I feel like they're going to find a way to pull it out. Right. And then we have the Mavs and the Thunder. I picked the Mavs to win that one in 6. And I'm sticking with that one. The last game, Kyrie, he played like a pure point guard in that one. 11 assists, only 9 points. They were trying to key in on Kyrie, so he was dropping dimes everywhere all over the court. He said Luka has it going. Some of the other guys have it going. Washington has it going, so I'm just going to sit back and I'm just going to let it work. They'll keep focusing on me, and I'll keep dropping dimes to y'all. What you think about that?
Man, I think Mike Holmgren had a rough game in Game 2. I don't think he played up to his standards. Mm-hmm. I do like the way that Tim Hardaway Jr. was a lot more aggressive.
For sure.
It's good for them to have him back. They got their third leading scorer back. That's always a plus. I think he's going to be very clutch for them in this series. I think if he continues to have a good shooting night in and night out, I think that unlocks the whole team. I feel like that frees up more space for Kyrie and Luka to get to their spots and do what they do. If he struggles, if Tim Hardaway Jr. struggles, I feel like the Mavericks struggle. I feel like he's the key factor to them winning this series.
I wouldn't put that on him. Nah, as long as
think about it, he was the difference.
You need Kyrie. Well, PJ Washington was hooping too. He was dropping threes.
I mean, he's hooping, but
he was getting wide open shots.
He's not moving the needle for him though.
Nah, in that last game he was in his bag. He was for sure in his bag. Tim Hardaway was too though. They had it clicking. What I will say is, as long as Kyrie or Luka. Mm-hmm. Both of them have to play well. Neither of them can play like bums. And Kyrie, he played well. He just played different. So they both have to play well. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, somebody has to go with them. Whether it's Hardaway, whether it's Washington, whether it's a miscellaneous person off the bench. Somebody has to go with them so they can get the job done. Right. And I think as long as they do that, they got it. However, and also on the flip side, give love to the Thunder mostly Shea, because that boy there is tough. That's the youngest team in the playoffs. He's 25 and he's like one of the oldest people on that team, if not the oldest. And he has them playing. Mm-hmm. They hooping.
The only thing I can say from watching the OKC Thunder, you wouldn't know they're a young team. The moment is not too big for these guys. These guys, they are not panicking. I feel like they got a little trigger happy from the 3-point line. I feel like they kind of just started shooting threes instead of working their way back from the lead. They tried to seem like they was trying to come back in one position. They kept hoisting up threes. I feel like they showed a little bit of their youth. They should have probably started driving a little bit more, but the moment is not too big for this team. I see them going on to win Game 3. I ultimately have OKC winning this series.
And how many?
6 games.
Okay, so I have Dallas in 6. You have OKC in 6.
Now I'm gonna have to change my name to Should've listened to Greg. Should've listened to Mook podcast. I'm gonna have to change my name.
I think we'll change your name to. That brother gave his best answer he could, but he fell short again.
Haters.
Am I? Hey, listen, it is what it is. We gotta have Dallas get that one at 6. So just to recap real quick, I have Cleveland in 6. You got the Celtics in 6. We both got the Knicks in 6. I have the Wolves in 6. You're still scared about that one, so put that as your name, Scared Mook. Spooky Mook. And then I got the Mavs in 6, and you got the Thunder in 6. Right. So okay, so you gonna be wrong twice, but I mean, not everybody can be me. Alright, so jumping ahead, we have a lot of big moments that happened this past week. Outside of the playoffs, we have Joker winning his 3rd MVP. Mm-hmm. First of all, congrats there. Do you feel like that was his MVP? When you look at the season he had, the success his team had, do you feel like, yes, Joker should have won this one?
Man, not to hate on Joker, I kind of feel like Shaq. I feel like they could have gave this one to Shea. To me, when you got a guy that's already won 2, if it's close, if they neck and neck, I feel like the deciding factor was winning the number 1 seed. I feel like it should have went to Shea. He's been playing good. He's second leading scorer. He's like first or second in steals. Man, I think Shea should have got this one. And it was very shocking that the distance between 1 and 2 was like crazy.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was wild, man. I was like, I don't know why they keep disrespecting this guy. I got my money on Shea, man. I got my money on Shea.
Yeah,
And the leadership.
Yeah. So Joker hoop for sure. Mm-hmm. But I think this was Shea's year to win this one. Joker played great, but this is nothing that we haven't seen him do before. And then also, Shea took one of the youngest teams, if not the youngest team, to the number 1 seed in a hard Western Conference. And he averaged 30 while doing it.
Right.
He is the first player since 1967 to average 30 points per game.
Right.
30 or more points per game and not win the MVP after taking his team to the number 1 seed. That's kind of a slap in the face.
And even that with the fact that, man, I feel like it's kind of like, man, and I'm not hating on Jokic.
Right.
But
because he's a hooper.
It was a stretch in Miami where LeBron could have been the MVP pretty much every freaking season.
Right.
And it was
Jordan in the 90s.
Yeah, and they were just giving it to different people. I mean, sometimes the way it's been going, it's not been the most valuable player. It's been the best player on the team to win the most games.
Yeah, see, and
I feel like they're moving the goalposts for Jokic.
I feel like it almost seems like there's like whatever just seems good that year. Right. Because some years it's like, okay, like the year Russ got it made sense. Right. Everybody had left. He stayed in OKC. Yeah, he averaged a triple-double. I think that year they were 5th in the West. Right. And the West was still
just
hard
to get that team to the playoffs.
So yeah, you give it to him, cool. I rock with it. That makes sense. Outside of that, pretty much any other year, I just need to make sense. Like Giannis's MVPs make sense to me. Right. So Giannis's MVPs make sense. And don't
get me wrong,
Bron's MVPs make sense. Right. Two of Joker's MVPs make sense.
Perfect sense.
Yeah, Joel Embiid's make sense. This year it was Shea's to win.
Yeah, it was Shea.
You
got to give it to the guy that don't already have one. You got to give it to this guy.
Because you never know what will happen. God forbid anything happens or the team falls apart or contracts, whatever. Like, you don't know if there's going to be, if he'll play this great and everything will come together the way that it did this year.
This kind of remind me of the year Derrick Rose won the MVP. Mm-hmm. If you look at the numbers, you could have easily gave that MVP to LeBron James. I mean, in every statistic, LeBron had a better season. But for sure. Nobody felt like
but Chicago was number 1. Yeah, Chicago was number 1 in the East that year. Right. Brown went to a team with D Wade and Bosh, so there are things about that were going to automatically be easier. But and the team with Boston, I'm sorry, not Boston, with Chicago, it was D Wade. Wow, D Rose and defense. So it's D Rose, make the offense, create it, give Boozer some shots, and then outside of that, everybody locks up. Right. So what D Rose did was tough.
Right. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying nobody felt like LeBron James was slighted. Right. Because LeBron James had already had his 2 MVPs or 3 MVPs, I mean, he had at the time. Right. And people was like, okay, go ahead and give it to somebody new. LeBron could really have it every year. If
it's going off of the best player, there were probably 12 years of Bron.
Right. He could be 12-time MVP. So you can really give it to Bron every year, just being honest. But nobody feel, even LeBron was like, man, it doesn't matter. He deserved it. But this year, it just feel like they really slighted. Shea gives you Arizona.
Yeah. So tell me this. and shout out to Shaq and Shannon Sharp. Those are some great uncles for sure. Now, throughout the NBA MVP, we've seen so many times, guys being slighted. Like Shaq, for example. Right. I'm just gonna kind of steer this in this. Do you feel? Because I just can't let this go. Do you feel like Shaq should be in more GOAT conversations? The Diesel, Superman, Shaquille O'Neal, the most dominant player in NBA history.
I love Shaq.
Yeah.
Well, we both agree that his greatest season was in LA, right?
Absolutely. For sure.
He's not even the greatest Laker of all time. So how can you be the GOAT?
Okay. So
that's just me. No disrespect to Shaq.
I feel like the only reason why we wouldn't call him the greatest Laker of all time is because he played with other teams, won with other teams. However, I also wouldn't put Shaq in the GOAT conversation only because he didn't win and terrorize as much as he could have. Because I remember vividly like watching Shaq as a kid and like going into series because I wasn't a Laker fan. Like I saw how dope they were and I like Shaq's personality and everything like that. But like you would go into series being like, well, maybe this person could stop Shaq. Let's see what Chris Webber, Vlade, Mike Bibby, and these guys do. They lose. Then we say, okay, maybe the Blazers will figure something out. Let's see what Bonzi Wells, Scottie Pippen, Stoudemire, Grant,
so let me ask you
Wallace
this.
will do.
So let me
they
ask
get
you
knocked
this.
out.
So let me ask you this, not to cut you off. Let me ask you this.
What's up?
So, okay, Shaq did go on to win another chip with another team.
Right.
I heard you say teams.
Right. Miami. And he was a very important piece on that team.
At the same time,
he was a
very important piece, but he kind of rode the coattail of Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was incredible that year. What was that, 2006?
Yeah, but he was the second best player on that team. He was the second best player on that team. Like, D-Wade was the best player on that team. He's the young gun coming out here, cooking, fast, got hops. You know, he's resilient, gonna get the bucket. And then Shaq wasn't Diesel Shaq, but he wasn't just a guy.
For sure, you got to put Shaq in one of the greatest big men of all time.
I think he's the greatest.
I think he's a top 10 player.
For sure.
To be that dominant,
I have him in my top 5.
Yeah, you got to be top 10. He's in some people top 5.
Yeah.
Who you take? Who is your top 5?
My top 5. Ooh.
Help me your top 5 because I like people just throw out. Oh, he's in my top 5. So who's your top? Who are you taking out of the top 5?
My top 5. Jordan is number 1. That's my GOAT. And we can get into this at a later date. Okay. But Jordan is my GOAT. After Jordan, we got Bron number 2. I have Kobe 3. I have Kareem 4. And I have Shaq 5.
So you got Shaq over Magic?
I do. Magic was great. I'm not taking anything away from him. But Magic got to get his driver's license in a Bentley. Okay.
So
yeah, you go to a team.
So you don't got Bird.
He's in my top 10.
Top 5.
He's in my top 10 for sure. 5, no.
Worthy.
He's not in my top 10.
I'm just asking.
Now
that's your top 5. I mean.
Yeah. Oh wait, what's your top 5 looking like?
My top 5. It's hard. My top 5 kind of changes. I kind of want to add some. No. I say my top 5 would be.
What's up?
Right now it's Jordan. I feel like LeBron have to get another ring, to be the GOAT.
Okay.
Even though
just give me your top 5. Just give me your top 5. We'll argue this another.
It's an asterisk beside Jordan.
We'll go later date. Give me top 5. Jordan.
So I go Jordan. I go LeBron.
Bron.
I go. Man, it's hard for me to do a top 5 because it's different variables to this. Are we talking about impact or we just talking about
top 5 players all time? When one day your kids grow up and they say, "Hey, Dad, who's your top 5 all time, dead or alive?"
I go Jordan.
Brown.
LeBron.
There's 3 more spots.
I go Magic because of impact.
Magic.
And
alright. Number 4.
I go.
Kareem. Okay.
He was the leading scorer of all time before LeBron broke that.
Right. That's 4.
You got to get Kareem.
So who's number 5?
I go Bill Russell.
Okay. Interesting. So we'll revisit this at a later date. Let's mark this down. Okay. No, bro. We're not arguing. We're not arguing that.
9 championships. They gotta be something. Come on.
We're not arguing this right now. And also,
I do have Shaq in the top 10.
But okay. That's wild. But okay. All right. So. But okay, so we both agree. But I feel like as far as most dominant, that's Shaq's conversation. The GOAT conversation, I don't think that's his, just from overall body of work. But I for sure like the most dominant. He and Wilt, that's their conversation. Mm-hmm. I got Shaq first in that, Wilt second, and then everybody else doesn't even matter for most dominant.
And Shaq my guy. I like Shaq.
Absolutely.
Shaq. Yeah. Just the fact check, he had 11 rings. My bad on that, people.
Yeah. Whatever. we'll still revisit that on a different day for sure. When the season's over, we gonna get into this. We'll go top 10 and go for real. Okay. So getting back into what's going on right now in the league. Mm-hmm. So Darvin Ham, they went ahead and let the brother go from the Lakers, which I know people want to go back to like the timeout situation and the calling the review or doing the challenge rather instead of saving that timeout for later in the game. I don't think either of those things singularly lost the game for the Lakers. I feel like what lost the game for the Lakers was AD not scoring in the fourth, D'Angelo Russell going 0 forever, shooting the ball, things like that. Austin Reeves not playing well every game. Those are the things that lost the game. And those are the things that really didn't have anything to do with coaching. Those are things that were like, do your job. I used to play music with somebody who used to say, like, it was the inside joke that said, earn your check. Right. And I feel like they don't say that enough in the NBA. Guys make all this money, but they don't have any responsibility for someone to look at them and say, earn your check. You should never be allowed to go, forever. Like, you owe it to your team, to the fans, for that next game to go nuts. And then the ones after that go crazy. You can't disappear. And then AD not scoring in the fourth, and then coming out and saying, we didn't know what we were doing sometimes out there. Well, again, you should know what you're doing out there. You're playing basketball. Score the ball. No matter what the coach says, the end game, the end result, what you're there to do is put the ball in the bucket and try to stop the other team. Right. So if you have the mismatch, if you were killing the Joker for 3 quarters, you don't have to ask the coach, hey, what you think we should do right here? Give me the ball. That's the only answer.
To sum up what Josh was saying is great soliloquy. I can sum it up in 2 words. It's scapegoat. You got to blame somebody.
Yeah.
They're not going to blame Rob Pelinka for putting this team together.
Which is wild.
It's clearly they needed more pieces. And LeBron kept saying before the trade deadline, we need to do something. We need to make moves. We need to make moves.
But he says that every year.
But, I think
every year.
The same thing that happened with the Phoenix Suns. And I said this the last episode. Somebody got to pay for this. Somebody got to go down as the person that's at fault. They ain't gonna blame LeBron. Much as I like LeBron and I love LeBron, he never take accountability for what he do wrong.
Yeah, that's my guy from the great Buckeye State.
He's not taking accountability.
My boy's a coach killer, low key.
Because if LeBron really wanted to keep Darvin Ham, he have all these encrypted messages. He would have got it out there that, hey, no, this ain't Darvin Ham. We want him back. Yeah. The more he do this, the more he's tarnishing his legacy. And he said, I don't got nothing to do with that. Clearly you do, LeBron. I mean, every at this point, at this stage in your career, every decision that the Lakers are doing, you are very, very involved.
They're talking about possibly signing Bronny or taking him in the draft because they want to keep Bron. So if Bron wanted Darvin Ham to be there, all you have to say is, hey, keep my guy. Right. Keep my guy. This wasn't on him. So then it becomes, for me, it's like one, it's on the players, and then two, one, who would want to coach the Lakers? Because it almost seems like a lose-lose situation.
JJ Redick.
That's because
Mind the Game podcast.
No, but it seems like a lose-lose situation because if you win, Bron and AD get the credit. If you lose, then you did everything wrong as a coach, and you're to blame. The rest of the team did nothing wrong. And I'm not saying that Bron didn't hoop, because Bron always hoops. Like, there's been a couple times, for sure, in the history of Bron where he hasn't hooped, of course. But for the most part, he gets the job done. But the others on the team, like, at some point, if we're going to look at anybody, I would look at the GM.
So what you think about Frank Vogel coming back? He did win a championship.
No, they already let him go, and they let him go.
I know, but
when they had the team with Russ and everybody like
that.
No,
I understand that, but like I've been hearing there's been chatter around him coming back.
Nah, I don't think I don't think that makes sense or it will work. Honestly, I'm at the point where I almost want Brown to do the Bill Russell, and you go ahead and coach. Since nobody else can coach in the NBA except for you. Because when he gets on there and he talks about how easy the game is, I don't know why we just didn't do a back cut here and kick it out, and then if we do this X to this here instead of screen here, da 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 da. Okay, just be Bill Russell at this point. You be the coach and the player, and you lead you all to victory. So that way, if you all lose, then you have no one else to blame but you and the guys around you. And then I feel like take some more accountability all around.
What you think about? You think they can steal Ty Lue?
If I was Ty Lue, I wouldn't want the job.
I ain't gonna lie. If I'm Ty Lue, I want my name to come up. You want your name to come up because it always feels good. J. Kidd's name came up and Mark Cuban was gangster with it. He went, let's extend this guy. Beat that. So, if I'm Ty Lue, I'm like, yeah, bro.
The Clippers could do that too. Steve Ballmer has more money than the Lakers on this. So if he wanted to do that, he could do that same thing. But if I'm Ty Lue, I'll probably write it out with the Clippers or honestly with the Clippers. That's a cool. You don't have the annoyance of the expectation that the Lakers have without the accountability that the players put on themselves. You know what I mean?
So Frank Vogel's gone. So that means the Phoenix Suns and the Lakers both.
Yeah, Phoenix just signed Mike Budenholzer, so they have him now. And there's also talk that they may be getting Russell Westbrook, since he's going to be a restricted free agent, putting him and KD back together. I would love that if they can trade, if either Bradley Beal comes off the bench to play the 6-man role, or they trade him for pieces.
But I can see that working because Bradley Beal and Russell that 1 year in Washington.
They hooped in Washington,
and they love playing with each other.
They hoop. Here's the problem. It's not just them. You have Booker and you have KD on the squad. They need to.
It can work, but
they need to get a big.
Four.
That's not a problem. They have to get a big man who likes to rebound and block shots, who's gonna for sure clean up that paint. They have to get somebody to come off the bench. They're gonna need another wing defender as well. So a wing defender, a big man who can rebound and block shots, like a young, DeAndre Jordan almost.
This is where I'm finna get y'all something exclusive right now.
Okay.
And I know ain't nobody thought about this.
Come on, break it down like a fraction.
Get in a little closer. This just a thought. If I'm the Phoenix Suns and if I'm the GM, I'm taking the first thing smoking to Chicago. I'm taking the first thing smoking to LA. I'm talking to Lonzo. I'm talking to his dad.
I knew this was gonna go left.
I'm trying to get Lonzo Ball. He will be the perfect fit. You got all those shoes. He's a big point guard. Depending on his health.
Okay.
I think he will be a great addition to those guys. He's a natural floor general. He don't need to take a lot of shots. He's 6'5", 6'6" guard.
Right.
I think he's very contagious. You can just see every team he get on, the ball moves. I think he'll be a great fit. And he was shooting 40% from three when he was healthy. And when he was playing, that Chicago team was like a top 5 team for his seeding.
For the couple games he played.
Right.
Yeah, that's cute. Here's the problem with that. Lonzo Ball is the only player who has been less healthy than Kawhi. I'm sorry that he had y'all zoom in for that. Y'all can just zoom right on out for that, because Lonzo Ball, he's not healthy. If he gets healthy, so much time has passed at this point. The last time he played
he's
was
not a
2022.
He's not a high volume shooter. Okay. That's why I said he's the perfect fit to what they're doing. He's a very high IQ player. I think he has so much IQ.
You think he's gonna survive the season?
I think that he'll
in the playoffs. You gonna put it.
Let's not forget, Lonzo is still very young. He's 27, 28 years old.
Yes. However, in basketball, if you're not playing, you're not used to it, and because there's working out and there's practicing, and then there's the actual game.
Right.
If you don't have the conditioning to make it through the season and to make it through those games,
man, I get all that. This guy is
like 27 sounds good when you say it out loud, but when your body is already showing that you have the body of a 38-year-old.
Man,
I mean,
this is what I'm telling you. If I'm Phoenix, listen to me, Phoenix.
If he's coming off the bench,
listen to me, Phoenix.
If he comes off the bench, I'll give you
Listen to me, Phoenix.
He'd be great with the second unit.
This is the answer. This is the answer
healthy.
to every problem that you have. You can get him cheap. I'm pretty sure Chicago is ready to get off that contract. He's a pass first player, very high IQ. He's a big guard. Defense is one of his keys. You know, he's a very.
Is he going to be able to play
player.
defense the same?
Of course. I think he's going to come back even better.
All because of what? He has 2022 was a while ago, bro. 2022 wasn't last year. Let's put it like that. 2022 was not last year.
Y'all gonna look back at this and you gonna say, man, Mook told me so. Mook told me so. I'm telling you.
The last he played was 35 games in the 21-22 season.
And what was Chicago record?
That was what, 2 iPhones ago?
What was Chicago record?
In less than half the season. Well, we weren't even at the All-Star game yet. What are we talking about?
What was Chicago record? They was like a number 2 or 3 seed.
We weren't at that point. Bro, what are we talking about? That's crazy. Phoenix, if y'all want to keep losing, go ahead and listen to that foolishness. But if you want to win and do something that matters, get you a wing defender, somebody who rebounds and block shots, and someone to come off the bench who can get you some buckets. You do that, you be alright.
But as far as Westbrook, I'm not mad at it at all.
Oh, no, that's my guy. Plus, I want him to get a ring before he retires.
Right.
Like, I don't care if he has a ring chase for it at this point. I want my boy to get a ring before he retires.
Well,
with some clock, though. I want him to get clock. I don't want him to
just going back
sit on the end.
To him reuniting with Durant, you don't know what you got till it's gone. I mean,
sure.
All those years, he could just
it'd be a great redemption.
All those years, it always ended up on Westbrook. You know, they was blaming Westbrook. So you don't know what you got till it's gone, KD. So maybe if you don't get it done, you'll be able to look at Westbrook and deflect on him like LeBron and AD did.
Reunited and it feels so good, etc. All right, bro. So check this out. So I know you probably heard something about it in between work and all, and your busy schedule and everything.
Yes, sir.
So Austin Rivers said there are about 30 players in the NBA right now who could go and play in the NFL. NFL players pretty much aren't taking too kindly to this. I haven't seen a lot of NBA players coming to bat for Austin Rivers and everything like that. Austin Rivers had a little back and forth with the ex-wide receiver for the Packers, right. James Jones, which was kind of wild because James Jones was a great wide receiver. He was dope when he played. However, where do you stand on that? Do you think 30 NBA players could go play in the NFL?
No.
Okay, talk about it.
It's a reason why they play football, and it's a reason why they play basketball.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's so easy to say what a guy would do because physically he looks like it, but it's hard to go across that middle of the field and know you finna get hit and catch that ball.
Man, I'll tell you what.
It's hard to go out there and play some football in 1 degree weather. I mean,
right.
in basketball, you kind of playing every night. You playing at a control in a controlled environment. So
absolutely.
you ain't got to worry about playing in the rain. You got to worry about playing in the snow. I kind of feel like Austin Rivers was just reaching. I mean, he got accomplished what he was meant to get accomplished. He got a viral moment, and any publicity is all. Any publicity is good publicity at this time. We live in. So I think he mission complete.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. You did
so
what you meant to do.
When he said that, I immediately thought, nah, he's tripping. Like that's
how he was trolling.
Yeah. Do I think there are some?
Yeah, of course.
Some, NBA players who could do it, sure. Mm-hmm. However, you hear a lot of basketball players who play football, tried to. Right. Even back in the 90s and 80s when that was known as the most physical era of basketball, who were like, nah, I wasn't trying to play football. Because there's a difference between, guys are flopping on the court. Guys get fouled on the court and they'll stay down for a long time.
Right.
That's small potatoes compared to a guy running as fast as he can, leaving his feet and spearing you,
right,
or hitting you in the head, or trying to punch the ball out and punching you, and everything else that happens in those piles, and those hits that you take. We've never seen a hit on the basketball court, like a hit on the basketball court, that has broken someone's arm before, or their leg before. Like, they didn't make a special position, like with the blind side to say, okay, we need someone to protect the quarterback. There's nothing like that in the NBA. And then it's just different sports.
Yeah, and another thing is you got to have really two completely different mindsets.
Absolutely.
To play each game. I mean, like, the mentality you have as a basketball player and the mentality that you have as a football player, I would say they night and day, but they are very, very different and are very, very apart from each other. Man, I just think, man, just respect each other's craft.
Exactly.
Because these are the top 1% in both of the things. These are the top of the top.
Right. I mean, these are the best athletes who ever have athletes.
Right.
So because of that, like, I don't even really like the comparison.
Right.
Because, you know, we've seen like a Jimmy Graham, and because NBA players who play football, you pretty much are playing wide receiver. That's the only position that you're really able to play. You're not going to play linebacker because you're not going to be fast and strong enough to do that, or running back, or DB.
Right.
You're not throwing the ball accurate enough to play quarterback, and you're not going to do that with people coming down on you. You're not going to be on the O-line or D-line. Draymond Green is one of the toughest guys in the NFL. He went out there and practiced with Michigan State, not an NFL team. Right. Michigan State, who's a good team in the Big Ten, but they're not Michigan or Ohio State. Or Ohio State or Michigan. Ohio State always goes first. But and when he went out there, they ran him over. Like he wasn't out there. He wasn't out there cooking by any means. Like, nobody was like, hey, let's go ahead and pull him on the NFL team. Right. So that being the case, and he's one of the toughest guys, it's disrespectful to say that they can just come.
And then you got to think about the commitment you got to make. I mean, let's talk about football. Let's talk about NFL. Those guys are playing
KC games
17. What is 17 game season now?
Yeah, 17 games.
So
that Kansas City game this year.
You talking about playing week after week? Your body's all broken up. You're getting in that ice tub. That's no joke. I mean, it's no joke. And then with the travel schedule, not that bad. And then you got to look at the NBA side. Yeah. These guys are always away from their family. I mean, you play so many games away from home and so many games home. I just feel like, let's just respect each other's sport. They're in the top 1% of each of their sports. It's the reason why, everybody can't do this. I mean, it's night and day from the college to the pros.
Right.
In both sports. So
yeah, just because you played great in high school, that means absolutely nothing for college. Because we've seen, people who have been great in high school not producing college, great in college not producing the NFL, and the same with the NBA. Like, it doesn't automatically translate. So, like, looking at tapes of guys who are killing at basketball or football in high school or college doesn't really mean much for the professional level. Right. But I'm with you. Just be respectful of each other's sports. Right. And don't assume, especially because nobody thinks Austin Rivers specifically can go play.
And then there's another thing. And you got to have to, before you can even play fast at each one of these sports, you got to first have the skills.
Right.
It's just not physical. Most of the guys have the skills. I mean, you could take the 15th man on the NBA basketball court and you place him in the celebrity game, he'll look like Shaq. Or he'll look like Kobe Bryant. He'll look like, man, why this guy ain't playing? Yeah. And he's the 15th guy on the bench. And he's playing with the quote-unquote best NFL player that can play basketball. He'll make him look very average. So, and then you can take the quote-unquote best NBA guy that you think could be the best NFL player, and you put him up against, 7th round pick in the NFL.
Right.
And he'll make that NBA player that you think will be the best football player look very average. So, I just say just respect each other's sport. Austin Rivers, I think you did what you was set out to do. You got your clicks. You went viral. Mission complete, boss. I respect it.
Yeah, I think another reason why people had a problem with it is just who it was coming from. That it was coming from Austin Rivers. Now, Austin Rivers in high school and in college, absolute hooper. In the NBA, he was cool. He was solid. But high school and college, he has one of the best high school mixtapes in basketball.
Really?
Boy. High school and college, Austin Rivers won. Austin Rivers was at Duke. He was all ACC.
Oh, I didn't see him.
He was cooking. In the league, he didn't play up to, what we thought he would be just because of how good he was.
This is what hurt Austin Rivers in the NBA. When he was on his dad's team, he was always in the rotation. I can't say the same when he wasn't on his dad's team. Except for that 1 year in Utah.
Right. No, I mean, he started when... Well, no, he has, a couple stints. He played for, I think, 7 teams, and he got clocked with probably 5 of the 7.
So he did get a little clock with Houston.
Yeah, he got clocked with about 5 of the 7. I mean, I'm not going to just, give his dad, because he put in work, and he, for sure, earned his spot in the league. But I think that, if LeBron would have said, there's about, because I don't think Brown would have said 30, I think Brown would have said there are about 10 guys in the NBA who could go to the NFL, and then there's probably the same amount in the NFL who could actually go in the NBA game and get some buckets. Like Myles Garrett is the same size, he's the same height as PJ Tucker, but he's more athletic and he's bigger. You can't tell me you wouldn't want Myles Garrett to give you a screen if you got the ball. Hey, Myles Garrett, give me the screen right here. No one's getting around that. You're like, cool. That's the safest screen you've had all day. And he's stupid.
I think Michael Parsons had real good game. I feel like
he's very athletic.
He's like a bowling ball, man. The way that dude was ducking in the All-Star game, I mean, you got my vote.
Yeah, he's super athletic. Jalen Ramsey, he's super athletic too. He's fast. So
now, I'm not saying that the guys can't make the transition.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's very slim.
It is. It's very slim on both sides, and then that's not something that you work towards. If you play football,
and it's a different story with those pads on. And it's a different story when you playing against the top 1% too as well.
Bruh, because you can play as much flag football, because you see the NFL NBA players play the flag football in the off season and stuff like that from time to time, and that's fun. But it's completely different when you run across the middle and somebody puts their helmet in your chest.
Literally, it's different.
Man, I saw Gronk was talking about how Earl Thomas shook that man's lung and took him out for the season. Earl Thomas is probably 5'10".
Man.
He hit Gronk.
The boom, baby.
Man, hit Gronk, had Gronk who's 6'6", 6'7", had him out for the rest of the season because he shook him. You never taking a hit like that in the NBA.
It's going to be a great NFL season, man.
Oh, man, I'm looking forward to it. But that's another show. That's another show. We're not ready for that. We're not ready for that. We'll talk about that later when we got Dan on here. But we really appreciate you all pulling up with us. Yo, thank you for coming through. I'm JB. This is my boy Mook. Y'all can tune in every week. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, your family members. Drive safe. Have a good time. Turn up, party. We'll see y'all back here next week. All love.
Peace.